Look, I know you're tired. I know you feel this constant, exhausting churn inside, like you're perpetually trying to outrun a shadow that's always catching up. You spend all your energy building walls, perfecting a persona, and strategically avoiding mirrors, both literal and metaphorical. But let me ask you this honestly right now. What happens when there's nowhere left to go? What happens when the only thing you're running from is the one person you desperately need to meet? The exhaustion you feel isn't just physical, friends. It's the profound, soul-deep fatigue of constant self-rejection, a topic central to improving your long-term mental health and achieving true self-acceptance. Hello, and welcome back. Friends, I'm so glad you decided to click on this one, because today we're tackling the topic that nobody truly wants to talk about, the absolute terror of just standing still. We're discussing why stopping, breathing, and finally accepting the messy, complicated human being you actually are feels like the scariest thing in the world. For years, I was the undisputed champion of avoidance. I was an expert at distracting myself with work, toxic relationships, or just endless scrolling, anything to prevent that 5-minute gap where my inner critic might start whispering those painful truths I didn't want to hear. This pattern of running is often subtle, disguised as ambition, or sometimes even mistaken for productivity. But underneath it is always a deep fear of authenticity. The run usually begins the moment we internalize the idea that some fundamental part of us is flawed or unacceptable. Think about it. Maybe it was a harsh word from a teacher, a confusing rejection from a childhood crush, or a constant need to meet impossible parental standards. This foundational wounding convinces us that the real us must be hidden, locked away. Because if we were seen in our entirety, with all our vulnerabilities and imperfections, we'd surely be judged, laughed at, or worst of all, abandoned. So we start performing, wearing elaborate emotional masks that feel suffocating after a while, sacrificing inner peace for external approval. What we need to recognize is that this running isn't a physical sprint. It's a profound avoidance strategy rooted in deep-seated self-hatred. We run into busy schedules, we run into meaningless partnerships, we run into perfectionism, and we run right past our boundaries. These are all high-speed detours designed to ensure we never have to sit down in a quiet room with ourselves and say, "Okay, this is me, and I accept this me." But the irony is powerful. Friends, the very thing we are running from, our authentic self, is the only thing that can actually offer us the rest and deep spiritual healing we desperately crave. Let me tell you about the moment I realized I was running. It wasn't a dramatic movie-worthy epiphany. It was mundane and painfully quiet. I was sitting alone in my apartment, having just achieved a major career milestone, something I had chased relentlessly for years, believing it would finally fill the emptiness. But when I got it, the silence was deafening. The emptiness was still there, maybe even bigger. It hit me then that I hadn't been pursuing success. I had been pursuing distraction, using achievement as a shield against self-confrontation. This realization was both terrifying and liberating, signaling the start of my journey toward true self-acceptance. The first step in stopping the run is simply noticing it. Where do you immediately jump when things get quiet? When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to feel a difficult emotion without trying to fix it, numb it, or intellectualize it away? For many of us, the minute discomfort arises, be it loneliness, sadness, or anxiety, we instantly reach for our phone, the remote, or maybe even a conflict, just to shift the focus outward. This is a critical habit we must gently dismantle. If we want to move past self-sabotage and toward genuine vulnerability, stopping the run requires cultivating what I call the courage to be clumsy. We're so obsessed with being polished and perfect, mainly because we believe imperfection is the gateway to rejection. But the real connection, the deep, meaningful relationship with yourself and others, happens in the cracks, in the moments where you admit, I don't know, or I messed up. Authenticity isn't about being flawless. It's about showing up as the human you are, flaws and all, and realizing that your value doesn't decrease because of your vulnerability. Now, let's talk about the mask. Every single one of us wears one, maybe even several. There's the accomplished professional mask, the always happy and positive mask, or the tough and unbreakable mask. These costumes are heavy, Kalyan. They block the light, they limit your emotional range, and they prevent people from loving the real person underneath, ensuring that even if you feel loved, you're constantly terrified that the love will vanish the moment the mask slips. The pursuit of inner peace starts with deciding which mask you're ready to put down permanently. This journey to self-acceptance isn't about becoming a new person. It's about remembering who you already are beneath all the layers of societal conditioning and fear. It's a process of archaeological digging, gently uncovering the parts you buried because someone else told you they were too loud, too sensitive, or too strange. Those unique qualities that you hid away. They are the exact things the world, and more importantly, your own soul, desperately needs. Don't let the fear of standing out hold you back from your own brilliance. One of the greatest lies we tell ourselves while running is that self-acceptance means complacency. We fear that if we stop striving and start accepting, we'll become lazy or settle for less. This is completely false. True self-acceptance is the stable foundation from which sustainable, healthy growth springs. You can only move forward effectively when you know where you currently stand. Trying to build a magnificent future on a foundation of self-hatred is a recipe for burnout and eventual collapse. So, how do we actually stop running? It starts small. Start with 60 seconds of silence every morning. No phone, no music, no planning. Just sit and feel. Notice the discomfort, the thoughts, the anxiety that might bubble up. Don't judge them. Don't try to solve them. Just observe them like clouds passing in the sky. This simple practice of mindful observation starts training your brain that difficult feelings are temporary visitors, not permanent residents or immediate threats that require you to bolt out the door. Next, try journaling. But with a specific focus. Write down 3 things that made you feel proud of yourself that day. Even tiny things without attaching judgment or qualifiers like, but I should have done more. This practice redirects your focus away from the relentless pursuit of external validation and slowly starts building an inner sense of worth. This is critical SEO for your soul, helping you optimize for genuine happiness rather than performance metrics. Vulnerability is your superpower here, friends. Running from yourself often translates into running from intimacy, because true intimacy requires you to drop the mask. Start practicing vulnerability in safe, small doses. Tell a trusted friend something honest and slightly embarrassing about how you feel, rather than how you think you should feel. Watch how the fear of rejection usually dissolves into connection. Reinforcing the idea that your truth is safe. We often assume that stopping the run means we instantly achieve inner peace, like flipping a switch. But honestly, the initial stop is messy and loud. When you halt the self-sabotaging momentum, all the repressed emotions and anxieties rush forward, demanding attention. This phase can feel like a crisis, but I promise you, it's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's the necessary clearing out before the real, calm renovation can begin. A powerful tool against running is practicing compassionate self-talk. If a beloved friend came to you in pain, overwhelmed and criticizing themselves, would you tell them their failures? Never. You'd offer kindness and support. Why do we treat ourselves so harshly? Begin by replacing that critical internal voice with the gentle, understanding tone of a supportive mentor. This shift is revolutionary for improving your long-term mental health. Remember that running takes massive energy. Think of how much bandwidth you expend every day trying to manage appearances, hide mistakes, and uphold a perfect image. When you stop running, all that energy is suddenly freed up. It's now available for truly constructive things, building authentic connections, pursuing passions for joy rather than validation, and simply existing in a state of relaxed readiness, rather than constant high alert. The biggest hurdle for many of you will be facing the grief. Grief for the years you lost pretending. Grief for the relationships that never deepened because you kept people at arm's length. Grief for the opportunities you missed because you were too busy hiding. Allow yourself to feel that sadness. Acknowledge the loss, forgive yourself for what you didn't know then, and realize that you are choosing a completely different, healthier path forward now. The journey of stopping the run is an ongoing commitment to being present. It means showing up for yourself, even when you are bored, sad, or feel inadequate. It means understanding that the chase is over. You don't have to earn your right to exist or your right to be loved. You simply are, and that is profoundly enough. The constant need for more, better, or different dissolves when you finally embrace the perfect adequacy of your current, imperfect self. The ultimate reward for stopping this exhausting chase is simple, yet revolutionary. You get to come home. You finally achieve that authentic inner peace you were desperately seeking in external accomplishments. The relationship you build with yourself is the longest, most important relationship of your life, Carl Jung, and it deserves all the patience, kindness, and relentless dedication you can muster. Stop running, turn around, and introduce yourself to the amazing person waiting there. This commitment to overcoming self-sabotage is the best investment you can ever make. It is difficult, yes, but living in constant fear and avoidance is far more painful and costly in the long run. Embrace the discomfort, because that discomfort is the signal that change is actually happening, moving you away from fear and closer to living an authentic life, filled with genuine joy and true self-acceptance. The foundation of lasting well-being. If anything I said resonated with the deepest part of your soul today, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps this message reach other friends who might be running too fast right now, desperately needing guidance on self-acceptance and healing. Tell me in the comments below. I want to know your biggest breakthrough moment when you decided to stop running. Was it scary? Of course it was. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss the next time we dive into the tough stuff. Until next time, take care of your authentic self, Carl Jung, and remember, the race is over. You're already home. Bye for now.